He wouldn't answer.
Well, if he's still as stiff-necked as he was when he came to the cabin last evening, I think she'd be satisfied to just let him alone.
That's easy to say, Sarah. The big trouble is she loves the boy.
All right, maybe she loves him. But if Will doesn't want her...
Shucks, he's crazy about her. Why, that was only his doggone pride talking so big and independent when he asked us to all take our leave and not come back.
Now, listen, Jonathan.
And if we'd stayed just 5 minutes more, why, he'd have busted down and bawled like a kid that's lost and scared.
He told us just as plain
sure
as
he
could
did,
be.
Sure he did. But it ain't only his eyes that's blind, Sarah. Why, his whole mind and reason's locked up in the dark, too.
All right, but there's nothing under the sun you can do about it, is there? Now go on, change your shirt and get ready for church.
Oh, I ain't going to church this evening.
Now, Jonathan.
Did all my praying this morning.
But you promised me that you'd go.
Hey, got some work to do.
Concerning Peggy Griffin and Will Calder, I'll be bound.
Could be and maybe.
Oh, Jonathan, just this once. Won't you tend to your own business and leave some things to the Lord?
Why, the Lord loves them that help themselves and others, Sarah.
Oh, if you want to misquote the scripture. But...
You go right along to church now. In the meantime, there's some business for the Lord and me out to Will Calder's cabin. Evening, Will.
Who is it?
Carter.
Oh.
Out for a walk and found myself up this way.
Yeah?
Pretty night. Moon's as round and as yellow as a beehive. Sky's just buzzing with stars.
Is it?
Sure is.
I wouldn't know.
Mighty pretty night. Mind if I set?
Oh, if you like.
Thanks. Say, hear that fiddle? That's old Tim Peabody. Lives in a shack down by the creek. Yes, good fishing there on a sultry day. You know, there's a granddaddy
You
trout.
might as well get down to brass tacks. Or horse collars, or whatever you're dealing in, Jonathan.
Why, what do you mean, Will?
You didn't walk up here to the cabin because it's a pretty night. And Peabody's playing his fiddle. There's a trout in the creek.
Didn't I?
You came up to talk about Peg Griffin.
Well now. Huh. I'm glad you brought up her name. Always thought she might be a right good subject for conversation.
You're wasting your time, Carter.
Tell me why.
Because it's one thing you can't ever fix.
Oh, feeling powerful sorry for yourself, ain't you?
Now, that's my business.
With a whole lifetime to play, you're retiring to the sidelines to say the game's called on account of darkness.
I don't want one of your pep talks, Jonathan.
Oh, you're going to prove to everybody you're the most miserable and unfortunate fella on the whole face of the earth.
I told you last night to stay away and leave me alone.
You're going to hide out to mope and mule so's your friends will feel real sorry for you.
That's not the reason, and you know it.
You're going to make Peggy Griffin feel she's being plumb disloyalty every time she goes out somewhere with another man.
No. That's not the reason, and you know it as well as I do.
All right. Then give me a reason with some sense to it if you can.
Sure, I can give you a reason. There's only one. I'm blind. Isn't that a big enough reason? Can't you realize what it is to be blind? To know you'll never be able to see again? I'm no earthly use to Peg Griffin, the world, or myself. I'm through, finished for good. Now will you get out of here and leave me alone?
Now. Easy, boy, easy.
And I haven't done this before. I want you to know that.
Sure.
I didn't even when they told me what had happened to me.
I know you didn't, Will.
You come up here and hammer at me and talk about Peg.
Sure. I'm sorry.
I guess you know I'm crazy about her.
Yeah, I know that.
But even you can see that I haven't the right to hold her to a promise we made before this thing happened to me.
Well, maybe you don't realize how much she loves you.
Well, maybe she does. But she's got to get over it.
You're asking for a miracle, son.
But don't you see? I'm living in a world different than she is. A dark world where things have no size or color. Only sound or taste or smell or feel.
You think that matters?
Well, of course it matters.
Well, when you get a bit older, Will, you'll know that sight is only one of the things that help us along. Oh, it's a wonderful thing to be able to see. One of the Lord's greatest blessings. But you know something? All the things I love and remember best ain't the things I've seen with my eyes. They're the things I've heard, or tasted, or smelled, or touched.
That's all very easy to say, but...
But it's true. Why, if my ears hear a few bars of an old song, I can bring back a whole wonderful day that I lived as a boy. I'm walking down a road again with a dog I love trotting at my heels. Yes, and although the years have dimmed the memory of my mother's face, if I smell the spicy perfume of petunias just at dusk, I can see her standing in her garden and smiling at me. Plain as plain and just as alive as you and me.
Yeah, but Jonathan, I can't...
Oh, yes, you can.
I'm still young. I can't live on memories of the past.
You don't have to. Why, you can see as well as me if you just try.
You don't mean that, Jonathan. You're just trying to make me feel good.
I said you can see as well as me. Why, I can close my eyes and tell you everything going on around this cabin.
You can?
Sure I can. There. You hear that scraping over yonder on the tree limb?
Yeah?
Now just had himself a field mouse, and now he's cleaning up his beak. You hear that squeaking? Squirrels got him home in that same tree and got woke up.
I think I hear a little noise at the corner of the porch.
Sure you do. That's a hoppy toad. Skinny and light from sleep in the winter.
How can you tell?
Taking long jumps. Long about July, he'll plop a lot harder. Yeah, and listen. Listen to that rustling over in the bushes? That's Mr. Weasel setting out to hunt his dinner.
Do you think I could ever...
You can do it right now. Now, come on. Listen and tell me what you see.
Well, you're smoking your pipe. I heard you scratch a match a moment ago. And now I smell tobacco.
You're dead right.
The moon's a lot higher. It must be right overhead. Because that nightbird started to call.
Right again.
You just crossed your legs. I heard the scrape of the cloth. And you've taken off your hat because I heard it drop on the porch.
You see how easy it is?
Why, it isn't hard at all when you get onto it.
Easy as eating plum jam.
Listen. Isn't that someone walking up the road?
Is there?
Yeah. Didn't you hear that stone roll?
Here, you see? Your eyes are sharper than mine. Now tell me, is it a man or a woman?
Man, I think. No, it's a woman.
All right. What color dress is she wearing?
Well, I don't know, Jonathan. How can I tell?
Well, women folks always walk different in different colors.
They do? How?
Oh, girls in black dresses always walk slow and sedate. Now, red always makes them kind of flirt with the heels. Yellow? Well, a yellow dress is just like a spring dance. Now, what color would you say this one's wearing?
She's wearing a yellow dress.
Well, I don't know.
It's a yellow dress, and it's Peg Griffin.
Will?
Hello, Peg.
Hello. May I come and talk to you?
Why, sure. Sure you can, Peg.
I came up this afternoon, but... Well, you wouldn't let me in.
Well, that doesn't matter now, does it?
No. No, it doesn't matter at all.
Peg,
Yes, Will.
what color dress are you wearing?
What color?
Yes, I'd like to know. Just to prove something.
Why, it's a yellow dress.
A yellow dress. Did you hear that, Jonathan? She's wearing a yellow dress, just like I said.
Sure it is. Didn't I tell you that you can see as well as anyone? Now go ahead and kiss her. And if anyone tries to tell you you're blind, you tell him he's a two-faced liar.
Oh, Jonathan.
Yes, Sarah, I'm down here on the front porch, letting Neptune out for a run before he goes to bed.
Well, don't stay out too long. It's chilly.
Oh, shucks, it's a wonderful night. Real spring-like. Well, land of mercy, will you look at that, Clementine? That bush I thought was through for good is sprouting up new again. No two ways about it, Clementine. There's nothing the Lord likes better than a handicap. Whether it's a lilac bush, an oak tree, or Will Calder, the Lord has a way of managing things. Why, Clementine, he's got a way of pushing a blade of grass plumb through concrete. Got a way of making a blind man see right smack beyond the stars. Hungry, Clementine? That's what you get for looking at the Milky Way. Makes you hungry, kind of, don't it, Clementine?
This is Bill Gargan again, expressing our thanks to Walter Brennan, Beulah Bondi, Jennifer Holt, and Gene Reynolds for such delightful performances. Thanks also to Charles Tazwell for his script of No Night Too Dark. You know, some of you folks listening in, you're lucky. I mean, those of you who listened with your families. I wonder if you ever really stop to think about what it means to have a family. If you love your family, and your family loves you, well, what more could a guy want? But I don't have to tell you, even though you do have a happy family life, there are times when you get a little worried, like maybe when one of the kids gets sick, very sick, and your whole family gets scared, so scared you don't know what to do, and you don't know where to turn. Well, look, have you thought about maybe saying a prayer and turning to God? No one can give you greater comfort. Yes, and no one can give you more help. Ask God to keep your family together. Ask him to keep it well and happy. You know, none of us is so self-sufficient that we can ignore God's help. None of us is so proud that we need hesitate to ask it. Just remember, you'll never know how much a prayer can do until you've said one. Ask, and ye shall receive. Doesn't that sound familiar? Before saying goodnight, I want to express our thanks to all of you who have helped make this program possible. Thanks also to Richard Sandville for directing our play tonight. Next week, our stars in the Family Theater will be Bing Crosby, Irene Dunn, and Dana Andrews in another story by Charles Tazwell entitled J. Smith and Wife. Now, this is Bill Gargan saying good night, all.
Next week, and in the weeks that follow, you will hear more of your favorite stars, such as Bing Crosby, Joseph Cotton, Maureen O'Hara, Gregory Peck, Lionel Barrymore, Susan Peters, Charles Bickford, Ruth Huzzy, and Pat O'Brien, in plays written especially for Family Theater by the nation's leading radio dramatists and directed by the most outstanding directors. This series of the Family Theater broadcasts is produced by Bob Longnecker and comes to you through the cooperation of the Mutual Network and the actors, writers, and directors of the radio and motion picture industries. This program is broadcast overseas to our armed forces through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.